Good afternoon to all. A faculty development program is more than just an event for attending lectures. It serves as a dynamic platform for active learning, collaboration, and the exchange of innovative ideas. With this note, we are happy to welcome you all in the fourth day of National Level Faculty Development Program on Emerging Trends in Pedagogy for Quality Excellence in Higher Education, jointly organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of V.V.Vanniaperumal College for Women, Virudhunagar, and Jamal Mohamed College, Trichy. On behalf of the IQAC of both colleges, I welcome today's resource person, Dr. Paul Newman, Associate Professor, Department of History, St. Joseph's University, Bangalore, Karnataka. It is my great honor to extend a warm welcome to Dr. S. Sinthana, the Principal of V.V.Vanniaperumal College for Women, and Dr. I. George Amalaratnam, the Principal of Jamal Mohamed College, Trichy, and Dr. M. Ponniyin Selvi and Dr. M. Syed Ali Badusa, the IQAC coordinators from both colleges, as well as to all IQAC members and the registered participants of this FDP. Today, we are gathered here to explore the exciting and thought-provoking session, Fostering Character Building in Learners of Higher Education Institutions. As educators, we possess the ability to inspire curiosity and ignite a sense of passion within our students. Today's session marks a significant step towards refining our teaching methods with the ultimate goal of fostering not only academic excellence but also the development of strong character in our learners. By evolving our approaches, we aim to nurture well-rounded individuals who are prepared to face the challenges of future with integrity, responsibility, and resilience. This session is an opportunity for us to strengthen our commitment in shaping the learners of tomorrow, both academically and personally.
Thank you, ma'am. I am very happy to invite Dr. A. Prasanna, ma'am, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, V.V.Vanniaperumal College for Women, Virudhunagar, to deliver welcome address and introduce our today's esteemed resource person, Dr. Paul Newman, sir. Over to Dr. Prasanna, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to all. First of all, I thank the organizing committee of national level 1 week online faculty development program for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I am happy to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Paul Newman. Dr. Paul Newman is a distinguished academician, human rights advocate, and an authority on migration and refugee studies. With over 3 decades of experience in teaching, research, and global advocacy, he has dedicated his career to addressing critical issues such as internal displacement, forced migration, and human rights violation, particularly in South Asia. He is fluent in 6 languages and established himself as a versatile scholar with a unique ability to connect across cultures and communities. Dr. Paul Newman holds a master's degree in history from the University of Bangalore and an interdisciplinary PhD in political science and history from Bangalore University. His doctoral research focused on the internal displacement and human rights situation in northern Sri Lanka during the critical years of 1995 to 2001. Complementing his formal education, he attended the prestigious summer school in forced migration at Oxford University in 2002, that further deepening his expertise in migration studies. Currently, he is serving St. Joseph's Evening College, Bangalore, and has an eminent teaching career, including positions at Christ University and St. Joseph's College. His admin is paralleled by his contributions to national and international research projects such as UGC funded study on the human rights situation of Tamil refugees of India. Dr. Paul Newman is a recognized resource person at UGC academic staff colleges across India and has delivered lectures on topics ranging from refugee rights and environmental justice to women in conflict zones. He has addressed global audiences at significant forums including the Human Rights Council in Geneva, the Canadian Members of Parliament and members of Transnational Government of Tamil Eelam in Toronto, Canada, and the Yazidi Genocide Conference in Iraq, Kurdistan. Notable among his achievements are his contributions to the People's Tribunal on Sri Lanka and his role as an international observer in key human rights trials. He has an added credit to his profile being NAC assessor. He is a prolific writer and has authored several influential books including Genocide in Sri Lanka and Unfettered Genocide in Tamil Eelam. He has also contributed over 85 articles to renowned publications such as Eurasia Review, Colombo Telegraphs, and International Policy Digest. His reports and strategic plans on refugee issues have informed policy discussions at organizations like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the European Union. As a consultant to the Jesuit Task Force for South Asia and convener of the Concerned Citizens Forum for South Asia, he continues to champion the causes of justice and equity. His dedication to human rights and his ability to merge academic rigor with actionable insights make him a thought leader in his field and a tireless advocate for the voiceless. It is our honor to welcome Dr. Paul Newman from Bangalore, a distinguished educator and renowned expert in character education. With his vast experience and insightful expertise, Dr. Paul Newman has made significant contributions to fostering holistic development among students. We are lucky enough to have such an eminent personality as today's resource person. He will share his valuable perspectives on fostering character building in learners of higher education institutions. And I am sure that his expertise in this area will greatly benefit and inspire our faculty members. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. Over to you, Madam, Dr. Jayalakshmi.
Thank you, Dr. Prasanna ma'am, for your warm and eloquent welcome. Your words have truly set to the tone for today's event. You have skillfully highlighted the impressive expertise of our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Paul Newman, Associate Professor, Department of History, St. Joseph University, Bangalore, Karnataka, making us all eager to hear from him. We appreciate your efforts in ensuring that this event starts on such a positive and engaging note. Now it's time to welcome our Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Paul Newman, sir, Associate Professor in the Department of History at St. Joseph University, Bangalore, Karnataka, to lead the session on the topic Fostering Character Building in the Learners of Higher Education Institutions. The session is over to you, sir. Sir?
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had sent the slides yesterday. Yeah,
Yes.
you're uploading them. Good. Yeah. I'm going to today talk on fostering character building in the learners of higher education. Because most of the time when we speak of the field of education, a good number of us think that character formation, character building should start only at the level of kindergarten and primary primary as well as the middle school level, at the school level. So none of us really give importance to character formation and character building at the level of higher education, as well as in the sense in our institutions as in the colleges. So that is how it becomes extremely important to look at the world perspective as to what is expected from a student and how managements need to respond. What are the roles of the teachers? Just give me a minute, ma'am. There's an important call. So I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you please load the slides?
Yes, sir.
Can you please load the slides?
Mahalakshmi ma'am, can you share the slides, our slide?
There's a network issue, sir. So they are working on it, sir. Please listen.
If you want, I can load them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So to give a brief background, it is always felt that every institution has its own mission, as well as the vision, the objectives, the aims of each and every institution are very, very clear and very, very specific. So it is here that the institutions always look for what are the types of characteristics the institution needs to build, especially among the student community whom they educate. So that is where here again, as I mentioned in the introduction, character building is not restricted only to the level of schools, but then continues at the level of higher education as well as at the level of the college and universities. And this has been followed to a great extent in Western universities, but then in India as well as in South Asia, to a certain extent we ignore that because we feel that our children who come to us are above the age of 18 and we need not give much importance or concentrate on character building. But character building becomes extremely important in the given circumstances. So that is where when we look at the mission and the vision of our institutions, it becomes extremely important what type of character we are going to deliver to our students who are supposed to be our customers. If students are not there, we don't have our job. It is as simple as that. So that is where we need to design in the mission as well as the vision as to how character formation has to take place over the course of their stay with us, over the period of 3 years or over the period of 5 years if you have a research center for a much longer duration. So you can come when I'll ask you to change the slide, ma'am. When I ask you, please change. So that is where when a student comes to us, the student is extremely fresh. They come after schooling, and once they complete their schooling, they are a little free, as well as they feel that the strictness, the the discipline, a part of it, everything stops at a school. So what do we are absolutely free when we come to college. So this is where we shouldn't allow them to go astray, to go scot-free. The direction should change in terms of molding them. So that molding is totally different from the way they are molded at school level. At the school level, they are extremely strict. Discipline is followed, as well as people are treated in a very harsh manner, in a very harsh tone. But then here, when they come to the level of higher education, it is more of a rigorous academic nature where you are totally involved. So that is where when we speak of UGC, also UGC speaks of mentorship. Mentoring is given lots of importance, even when NAC visits happen, as well as when UGC visits happen. Lot of importance is given to see how students are mentored. So molding character is also part of mentoring the students. So it can be done at a very personal level, as well as it can also be part of the academics itself. So in the as long as the students are there with us, it becomes our duty to design a way to make them complete, because today we look at what we call as holistic education. So holistic education also comprises of character formation. Character formation becomes part of holistic education. It is with that parents send their children to us. Otherwise, there's no need for people to come to our colleges. Whatever we teach, whatever we impart, today's children can imbibe them, can learn them through online courses, which are most of the time free as well as extremely cheaply available. So when the aim of the parents is these people should become contributors to the society, to be disciplined, to have a good character in order to have a good future. Next slide, please. So in that sense, what happens once they come into our institutions? So it becomes the responsibility of the institution to design a program in such a way that character formation becomes part of the culture of the institution. So here it is not just academics that need to be imparted, but then when students come here, they come here with the aim of learning. So learning shouldn't be confined only to academics alone. Learning should be, we should teach them how to become independent, because till the time they are there at school, they are always spoon-fed. The teachers do everything. You dictate notes, work out sums, everything is done. But then once they come to the level of graduation, you need to teach them to be totally independent, to self-sufficiency, as well as learn, help them to learn how to be independent. So when they start learning how to be independent, they are bound to make mistakes. So it is here we need to see to it that as part of our institutional responsibility, we handhold them, mentor them, guide them, and then help them in understanding what we call as the scientific truth. And then here, once they come here, they should be able to differentiate between what is good and what is bad. They should become responsible citizens. They should not blindly accept anything that is said, because today with the invasion of WhatsApp, we find that anything and everything that comes on WhatsApp is easily digested by the students. They feel that that is the ultimate truth. But then that is not the way it should be. It should be verified. Everything should be verified. Everything should be looked into from a scientific perspective. So who does that? It becomes the responsibility of the institution to inculcate what we call as scientific temper among the students. So scientific temper need not be confined only to the students of science background. Whether they are from social sciences or commerce or management, any background, we should help them to develop a scientific outlook of the world. So it is here that character building, character education should be applied in higher education, and students are expected to learn about how to go about their own future, because you can only show them the path. So if they have a good character, they will know how to go ahead, they will know how to survive in this world. So character building becomes extremely important in order to see that the children who come to us are part of the society, who can contribute to the society. It becomes extremely important that they become good members of the family, they become creative, they become innovative, they also feel social responsibilities, take up social responsibilities, become good citizens. So students struggle the transformation stage from school to college. Students generally struggle. So here they are totally into a new arena. So when they are completely into a new arena, the onus lies on us how to bridge this gap. So whether you let them go scot-free or whether you still hold them, and how you care for them and how you show them the ideal path. So this is where here it becomes extremely important that institutions take up the responsibility of showing the students what ideal characters are and how to imbibe these ideal characters into the lives of each and every student who enters into our institution. Next slide, please. So in that way, we find that students come to us with a lot of expectations. Institutions also have expectations, but at the same time, after 3 years or after 5 years or more than that, when the student steps out of our institution, the world receives them. They are ready to face the world. But then, have we prepared our students to be members of the globe? Are they prepared to become global citizens? Have we prepared them enough to face the challenges of the world? The world is a very, very cruel place. Surviving in this world becomes extremely tough. It becomes extremely challenging. Do the students have the responses to the challenges posed by this world is a very big question mark. And who helps them do that? It is the institution that helps them to face the world. So this is where our mission needs to be very clear, our vision needs to be very clear. The teachers need to be thoroughly oriented as to what the students' expectations are and how we deliver to the character. So the world expectations from a student the minute the student passes out, when he or she steps out to this cruel world as a member of this world to contribute, here the personality values need to be completely developed, and how we have prepared them, because when they step out as potential employees, as employees. So companies are waiting to take them in. So what do they demand? The world demands very many things. First and foremost, the world demands from a fresher is the quality of integrity. Now they see how the person believes in integrity, what forms integrity in the person, how long this person would work for a company or a firm, what are the initiatives the person would take as a team player, whether the student is motivated enough, whether the student can work in a team, whether the student is a team player becomes extremely important. If given leadership roles, whether the student works ethically or not. So that is very, very much tested. The willingness, whether the student as a fresher when he enters a company, whether the student is willing to learn, or whether the student is bossy, whether the student doesn't understand things, whether the student wants to impose his will on others. So these are the things that forms the character which are tested by the world when these students step out as potential employees and as freshers, as job seekers when they enter into a company. These are certain things that these experienced persons from the company test. The test of integrity, initiative, motivation, teamwork, leadership ethics, willingness to learn. Yeah, next slide. Commitment, how far the student after completing the graduation or post-graduation, how far the student is committed, how far the student can lend her or his ears, because listening is a great virtue. Can the student listen? And how they respond to listening, whether they are active listeners or passive listeners, how tough they are, whether they are able to withstand the pressure of work, because in future they would not just work, they would also become part of a family, whether they can balance work and whether the balance is there of work as well as a family, personal as well as professional balance is there in them, how far they are flexible to listen to the ideas of others as well as own ideas, and acceptance, how far they are ready to accept good ideas that come from others. Now, another very important part of character development is the oral communication, how far the student can communicate, because today's world, a good number of our own teachers cannot communicate properly. The first and foremost expectation of a good teacher is good communication skills, which a good number of us really lack. How far have you imbibed this quality of communication into your students? It becomes extremely important. And how honest are your students? So integrity and honesty are something that are inseparable. How honest your students are, and how logically your students can argue, can put forward their point of view if they feel that it is right. Logical argument and other sort of arguments, working in a group, accepting the other's point of view. So these are certain traits a student needs to develop as part of their personality in order to become extremely sustainable. Because here we are talking about a competitive world. For every single job that is available, you have nearly 100 people waiting for the job. The joblessness, unemployment is one of the most important social problems as well as economic problems faced not only in India but across the globe. We have every year, it is said that more than 5 lakh graduates, engineering graduates alone, don't get jobs. Every year 5 lakh engineering graduates don't get jobs. So in that sense, how about the general graduates who pass out? So are they job ready? Are they ready to be accepted in the market? Are they ready to be absorbed in the market? Are they fit enough to live in our community? Do they fit enough? Do they fit inside the society? Can they get a job on their own? So these are certain questions the institution needs to really ponder upon, think with the teachers, and prepare the students to face the world. Next slide. So it is here that something that is very, very important for colleges and institutions is to take their roles extremely seriously. Because in future, we need to compete with foreign universities, because as per the national education policy, we are going to get the top 100 universities from the rest of the world coming in and setting up their campuses here. So when foreign campuses are set up here, we need to compete with them. So will we get students of that caliber? No, will students come to us if there are foreign competitors in our market? So that is where institutions need to reorient and redesign their programs. They need to give a broad consideration of what college life is for a student. It should be, as I told you, it should be a holistic experience. So this is where a campus culture itself becomes extremely important. So that is where I have posed certain questions to people listening to me as well as for the people in the management. Maybe you can take these things down and then you can discuss with your managements and see how you seek responses from them, work as a team among your teaching fraternity, and see how you respond to these challenges. So first and foremost, when we speak of the campus culture, what are the values of the university or the college? When I speak on behalf of St. Joseph's College, I can very clearly say that we function on a threefold objective. So if we run 75 colleges and universities in India. I am part of a university that is run by the Jesuit fathers. You would have heard of Loyola College in Chennai, Trichy St. Joseph's. So we are part of that group. In India, we run 71 colleges and 4 universities. Across the world, we work in 102 countries around the world. So anywhere you go, any campus you go across the world in all the 102 countries, all the 75 institutions in India, we work on a threefold objective. We are extremely clear. First and foremost is academic excellence. The second one is character formation. So when I was given this, Ganga ma'am was the one who invited me to give this talk. So So she told that there were totally 4 topics and nobody was prepared to take up character formation. So I said I will take it up because character formation is part of our objective. The first one is academic excellence, second one is character formation, third one is social concern. So we have a culture of our students getting completely imbibed into these 3 very important objectives. So in that sense, what are the values you impart in the student who enters your college or the university? How are they embodied and sustained in practice? When we speak of, for example, here at St. Joseph's, when we say social concern, for a first year graduate student, we have what is called as the outreach program. In the outreach program, they need to very clearly spend a few hours, working in an orphanage or a old age home. They need to go to the streets, bring about traffic awareness. So there are people monitoring them. So first year, they need to do that. Second year, they need to go to government schools. Every weekend, they need to go to the government schools and then teach a certain number of hours. Third year, when they are in third year, they need to go to the rural areas, work in the rural areas for a certain period of time. So which is completely monitored. So here we measure our work, how the practice is sustained. The next question is, do institutional practices, incentives and social expectations support or undermine the cultivation of character? So how far, when we do this at a very practical level, the student understands how far we are able to help them in cultivating good character formation in them, how the institution has helped them, have we taken a feedback from them as to when they pass out what they have learned, how they have learned, how the institution has helped them, the virtues of inquiry that their discipline demands and promotes. So how far they are disciplined, whether it is in the classroom or whether it is outside in the society, do they feel that they are a changed person after entering into your college, after coming into your campus? Have they met certain demands of the society? How your institution has promoted certain values? We need to find out from them to understand where exactly we stand. So that is where a campus culture becomes extremely important. What role might the consideration of character play in moving teaching from transactional to transformational? So what we do in the class, it is not just a transaction. I read something, go to the class and transact that to the student. There is nothing original that I produce. So whatever I have read, I just pass it on to the student. The student imbibes it. But then from that, how I become a person who influences them, to become transformational, how the student is able to, whatever the student has learned, how the student is able to transform it to the society, how the society has benefited from what they have learned from us becomes extremely important. So that is transformational learning. So are we just playing the role of a teacher, or are we facilitators, or are we knowledge creators? That we need to really know. We need to evaluate. We should make a self-evaluation as to, am I a mere teacher or a person passing on the bookish knowledge from what I have learned to the students, and how far the student has transformed in the 3 or 5 years they have stayed with us. So all these become part of the institution's culture. So institutional culture is extremely important, wherein when the student enters in our institutions, when the student is enrolled for a first year graduation program, the parents need to give an undertaking that every week your child, your ward, whether it is a daughter or a son, will go to the traffic signals in different parts of Bangalore, bring about, hold placards, stand there, bring about traffic awareness. Second year, they would go to government schools. The parents have to give it in writing. Third years, it is compulsory for everybody to attend a rural exposure or a tribal exposure camp. They have to also undergo theoretical classes. So if the parents do not take this undertaking, the student will not be allowed to take up the exam, and if the student doesn't fulfill the minimum required credits for this, the student will not be allowed to graduate at all. We are extremely strict in this, and that is how our culture has come. Next slide, please. So then the same thing, what does the research culture an institution has? What research is being done in the university or the college that relates to the cultivation of character? Have we really done any kind of a research? Research not necessarily means that you should have PhD scholars. For example, in St. Joseph's, when the student is in a second degree, it becomes compulsory for every student to produce a term paper, not from their subject, but from another subject, not from the same stream. If the student is from BA, the student has to write a term paper, something related to commerce or banking or management or sciences also. Same for the student of sciences. So we impart the research culture in them so that they don't accept anything and everything as it comes. They start questioning. So that is where what type of research you have undertaken and how you are helping the students to realize what research is. Are aspects of research relating to character visible and valued? So by that, what happens? The students learn a scientific temperament. Their character molds. They get to meet different people. A student from science background also gets to see what happens in the society. They need to produce a paper at the end of the year, which is evaluated for 100 marks. So in that 100 marks, how much the student has understood? We have a bio course to find out whether the student has understood or not. What are the values the student has learned? The same for students of social sciences also, whether they have learned something from sciences, how it is, whether it is application based or not. Then what virtues are required of good researchers in different fields? As a higher education institution, if you are not into research, you can conveniently forget about the future, because future means research. Research is the future. How the institution is geared up for taking up research in different fields. How far, for example, as a NAC assessor, when I go to different places. Last month I was in a place where there is a department of sericulture in one particular college, where the students and the teachers go to the nearby villages, help the villagers to come out with this mulberry cultivation. Mulberry is the plant that is cultivated, and then help them in sericulture. So in another institution I had gone, we found that the institution runs a course on aquaculture. The students go to the field and explain how to improvise the yield of prawns in the villages. So how far the research is applicable? So how far has the institution imparted research ethics and imbibed as autonomous institutions? How far you have brought in research curriculum into your particular syllabi? How much have you given importance to vocational education? How much importance have you given to research? When you frame the syllabus, it becomes extremely important. So every institution, as part of character formation of a student, should make the student understand that research is extremely important in every field of activity, and they should be research oriented in whatever they do, even when simple things, even to buy a car, even to sell a car, even to buy a cloth, which is better, which company is good, how much is that, what is the difference between simple things they need to research. So that research character should be supported by the institution, that research culture should be imbibed in them, that the institution should stress upon. The next important aspect of character formation comes in the form of institutions' student support. How far the institution supports the students. So here, how can student support services be proactive, promoting positive character formation? Now, for example, if a student goes to the office to get a certificate, you know, the general tendency is the office people always are extremely aggressive at the students, not helpful. And that creates a very negative image about the institution. And that again speaks of the type of character the institution has accepted from the side of the non-teaching staff. So how positive they are, I'm just giving this as an example, it may be true or may not be true, but many places this has been the experience of many students. They say that non-teaching staff generally don't support them, especially the office staff. So how far they have had an influence over the character formation of the students? How do we support them? How do we support the students? Now, what character qualities are needed to help students successfully navigate the pressure of university or college life? College life is extremely pressureful. So, how to convert the pressure into a pleasure activity? So, that have we really thought about, and how have we designed that? As autonomous institutions, how far we have made our curriculum student friendly, how far we have made our syllabus student friendly, and how far learning becomes a joyful experience for them. So how we have made learning a joyful experience becomes extremely important, and as autonomous institutions we have full freedom to design these extra or co-curricular activities. And then how are personal virtues used as resources to help students protect their mental health? This is where I was talking about mentoring. For example, in our institutions, for every 30 students, there is one mentor. And in any Jesuit institution, it is compulsory that for every 500 students we have, whether we run around 800 schools in India, apart from I was talking about 75 higher education institutions. So for every 500 students, it is compulsory for us to have a counselor, because counseling was once upon a time a taboo, but today people need counseling. Students more so need counseling because of the academic pressure they face, because of the family pressures they face, because of the uncertain future, bleak future they generally see, because it's a very, very competitive, globalized world. So this is where we need to see how the mental health of students is protected. How many of our teachers are trained as counselors at their graduation? Massive majority of them come to us so that once they complete their degree, they can land up in a job. Is there a working awareness of the importance of character for professional practice? They are all going to become professionals after 3 or 5 years. So when they are becoming professionals, how far have you prepared them? How far are they aware of themselves? How far are they aware of the skills that they have learned? What are the skills you have imparted in them? How do advisors approach questions of service and vocation? How far, if you have a career guidance cell, if you have a placement cell, in the placement cells are extremely important for every institution. As per that, every institution needs to have a placement cell. So whether the placement officers are adequately trained to provide this service, whether they are able to understand what a service is and what a vocation is. Now, how are students encouraged in your campuses, supported to identify and cultivate character required for good practices in their future career? So in their career, what are the things that they are applying was taught by you in your campus becomes extremely important. For example, if I am a good writer, how much the college has contributed in making me a good writer, and whether if I have taken up the job of a journalist, how far theoretically and practically the institution where I studied helped me in taking up that vocation. That becomes extremely important. And next is alumni engagement. How can alumni help students understand the importance of character and wisdom in their workplace? Because the alumni who have passed out from your institutions, they have a fair understanding of what they have learned in your institution. So now if they are working, they know what they have learnt in your institution and what are the lacunae, what they did not learn, what they should have learnt. How good it would be to have far more better skills. So that is where alumni engagement becomes extremely important in character formation, because they would say we were never taught what punctuality is, because bell goes at 9 o'clock, you keep allowing people to come at even 9:15, 9:20. No, when I go to the class, I make it very clear that nobody will enter the class after I enter. No? Because 9 o'clock means sharp 9 o'clock I will be there in the class. So students know that I cannot enter Paul Sir's class if I go at 9:01. So they will have to be there. That is something that they would learn. If the class is from 9 to 9:50, sharp 9:50 I will finish. I will not take an extra minute from another teacher. So they know at this point of time you will have to end the class and you have 50 solid minutes. So in that 50 minutes your planning needs to be done. So they learn what is planning. They know that in the class they have to be extremely disciplined. So these are certain things the alumni notice. They know that these are things that they were not taught in our institution. So that is where alumni engagement becomes extremely important. Bring as many alumni as possible to talk to the present crop of students and help them to, if possible, if they are able to devote some time to train the students, they can train the students. Then comes the admission policy itself, admissions at your college. Is the admission open about the character qualities it seeks to cultivate along the other graduate attributes? No? So graduate attributes means, for example, in St. Joseph's we have 12 graduate attributes. So when a person graduates from our institution, these are the 12 attributes a graduate will possess. If the person says, I am an alumni of St. Joseph's, you can expect these 12 graduate attributes from a student of St. Joseph's. So how we make it possible, how we mold their character, how we help them to cultivate. So that becomes extremely important, and for that, as I told you, we make it very clear at the time of admission itself. Because very many students, they come from very well-to-do backgrounds. No? So we have a student strength of 11,000 students in St. Joseph's. So 11,000 students, majority of them are from middle class and lower middle class background. But then there are students coming from very wealthy families also. So in their family, they will say that when I go to a camp, I will not sleep down. I will need a cot. No. In the first year itself, we take an undertaking that when they go to the rural areas, they will sleep with the others. They will eat the food that is cooked in the common kitchen for everybody. Students themselves will cook when they go to the rural areas. Certain amount of money is given to them. It's part of learning. They have to manage 5 or 6 days with that particular amount that is given to them. They have to spend very, very wisely. They have to do everything. Everybody needs to take turns in cutting vegetables, to fetching water, to cleaning their living rooms, to cleaning their toilets. Everything they need to do it on their own. So at the time of admission itself, we make it very clear that this is the demand of the institution. If you are willing to do this, you can seek admission. Otherwise, you are not welcome here at all. So in that way, do you have certain admission policies which help in terms of formation of the characters of the students? And how are character qualities relevant to an applicant's potential in their chosen field of study taken into account in terms of admission? So when we conduct the interviews, we screen them, we find out what are their areas of interest. We have nearly 70 different clubs. So we tell them, we guide them that these are the clubs through which you can develop your character, and it becomes extremely important that they are members of a few clubs. A minimum requirement is there. Every student must enroll in certain club or the other, and from there they learn very many things in a very, very informal manner, not in a very formal manner, but in a very informal manner. Lots of learning takes place, and that is made very clear at the time of admission itself. So does your college have this kind of an admission policy? If it does not have, you can always change the admission policy, make it very clear to the students who come to your institutions that when they come here to study, these are the things they need to learn. Next slide. So another very important thing is now the NEP, after NEP has come, NEP is not, I know NEP is not implemented in Tamil Nadu, but then in very many states it is being slowly implemented, but in the long run NEP will become a reality. Even if not NEP, in the long run, for the kind of pressure we have on higher education, because the gross enrollment ratio in India, it is about 27.8%. By the year 2035, India is aiming at a gross enrollment ratio in higher education at about 50%. So we are lagging behind by some 22.2%. So in the next 11 years, 22% more admissions will happen in our institutions. So that means the infrastructure is not adequate. So when infrastructure is not adequate, classrooms, we don't have enough of classrooms. So that is where we go in for blended mode of learning, online blended mode of learning. So here, how flexible we are, how flexible is the institution to reach out to students in respond, how the institution is going to respond. Because when we speak of 3 to 5 years they are spending with us, these are continuously assessed. This is a continuous period of assessment, formative period. So how are you going to monitor the formation, and how you are going to expand online learning, how you are going to monitor them, whether their character develops if you are onto the online mode. That's extremely challenging, and it is best for the institution to design courses in order to help them learn certain new things, especially with relation to character building through online mode of learning, because not everybody can spend full time in the college, be it the teachers or the students. The next important aspect of character building is through extracurricular activities. So what role does extracurricular activities, such as, for example, in India we have NCC, NSS, Women's Forum is there, we have excellent facilities for sports, music, drama, leadership societies are there. So what role do they play? For example, NCC, when we speak of NCC, NCC helps them in leadership roles, helps mold a student as a good leader. NSS inculcates the quality of service. Women's Forum helps them to respect gender parity, gender equality. Sports helps them to understand the policy of give and take, acceptance of others. So in that way, every extracurricular activity, try to identify what are the characters that this particular extracurricular activity can give. Lay stress on that. So make it very, very clear. Let it be extremely formal. Write them down. Make an effort to write them down and tell the students, when you join NCC, these are the things that you need to learn. Be conscious of what you are learning. Be conscious of what you are teaching them also, because this is formative education which happens over a course of 3 to 5 years. Values are learned over these period. So how far student activities are supported by the management, because there are certain management who stress only on academics. So who want to, they have become like factories, only academics. Students are like machines, they go learn, they don't know anything else. Is my institution that way, or is my institution offering something more? So extracurricular activities can teach and mold characters of students in a very informal way, because it is part of what we call as peer learning. Peer learning is a very, very important concept that is followed in most of our institutions, but then it is new to, this concept is quite new to India, but then we have been following that for a very long time. Next slide, please. So here, I think I'm nearing about an hour, so let me discuss on what are the character in higher education, what are key principles of character in higher education. The cultivation of character is extremely important in core research because research is taken up by teachers first. So this has to be imparted among the students also. So here research, educational and civic purpose. It is not, research should not be for education alone. Research is also extremely important for the benefit of the society. How far we have imbibed the quality of research in our student, so that the student is able to push and see whatever the student has learned and tries to experiment at the society level. Good higher education institutions should impart good character formation because it helps students to equip with work and life. So if a student has developed good good character in the institution, in the college, the person will be extremely successful in work. The person will also be extremely successful in life. So that depends on how we produce these people, because we always say students are our future, but what have we contributed to them as the future? Character contributes to human and societal flourishing. So it is not a private concern of the student. Character formation is the business of the college, because it is our responsibility to see that the society flourishes. The society can flourish, society can improve only when our students shine, only when our students possess good character, and only then they can bring about a change in the society. So it is character formation that equips students to become intellectuals, to have civic sense, to have moral virtues. So wherein they can make a choice of their own, they can exercise their own choices, because we are living in a democratic society. India is the world's largest democracy, but in the last 10 years, if you see the democracy index, we have been sliding down. We still have age-old problems, including dowry, including problems of harassment of women. India is called as the rape capital of the world. Domestic violence, India tops in terms of domestic violence. In terms of murders, India tops. Why? That is because we have failed in developing the characters of our future generation. So in a democracy, do we value democracy? What are the values of democracy that we have taught our students? These are certain characters which we need to teach them. How many students really make an effort to go and vote when they turn 18? So these are the values which we need to impart and imbibe in them. The characters of contributing to the society by becoming intellectuals and also understanding their role as future citizens, not only of India but also global citizens. So here students also should become critical thinkers. One of the most important part of character formation is to teach the student how to think critically, how to accept concrete criticism, because most of the time we are extremely intolerant. We need to teach them to accept the other person, to be tolerant towards others. One of the most important problems faced by India is the communal danger, communalism, casteism. Tamil Nadu is known for casteism. So what is wrong in accepting the person of another caste? There's nothing wrong in that, because they are also fellow human beings. The atrocities that are committed, because as a human rights activist I speak at the UN on different issues. The two major issues on which we actually debate are the issues of communalism and casteism when it comes to India. At the world level, we speak a lot on climate change. So how far as educational institutions we have imbibed the quality of saving the environment in our students? How many of our students know what are what is called as the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, UN Sustainable Development Goals? 17 of them are there. How many of them know that? How many of our own teachers know that? Because character building is not necessary that they should be only punctual, disciplined. No, they should also respect the environment. They should respect fellow human beings. all certain virtues which need to be put into practice. Character can be caught and taught at universities. There are people who come with excellent characters, so their characters need to be caught. We need to help them flourish with that, and those who don't have, pair them with them, so that they are taught. It should be the ultimate aim of every student that when they come to us, they should get out as better human beings. So when they go out of our institution as better human beings, that is satisfaction you get, that their character is improved, their character is developed. Next slide. So in that sense, we need to say that it is the responsibility of the institutions to prepare our students towards their professional life, because by the time they are 20, 21 to 25, they are ready to face the challenges of the world. They need to be extremely, there are great expectations. Everybody expects them to be intellectual. Everybody expects them to be morally high. Everybody expects certain virtues, certain qualities in them. Everybody always expects them to improvise, to improve their performance every time. So have we taught them the quality of improvising every time? Many universities make it their purpose to educate responsible citizens. Not only Indian citizens, but I go to the extent of saying that all our students should become global citizens. So this is where the world is changing. Our students ready to face the world? Is the task given to them, are they able to accomplish those tasks? Character education is culturally responsive. So it is not a single philosophy tradition. Are they accepting other cultures? Are we allowing them to accept other cultures as well as draw inspiration from diverse traditions? Because we say unity in diversity. In India, we have 1,632 languages accepted by the Archaeological Survey of India. We say we have nearly 5,000 dialects. But then do we accept them? Diversity, is it accepted? So it is here that the focus on character and value is a feeling that the students should say that, yes, I belong to this particular university, I belong to this particular college. So belonging is extremely important. I am proud that I studied in the same university where I am teaching. But that belonging is there. So do your students have the same kind of belonging to your college? So that can come about only when you mold their characters, because classroom learning, whether it happens or not, people don't remember that. People remember the good qualities of a teacher. You can always think about it. As when we were students, who are the teachers whom we remember, and what are the qualities of the teacher that we remember? So that becomes extremely important. Are our students agents of change? Are we change makers? Are we empowering others? How we have empowered our students to empower others in the society, because it's a rapid changing world. So what was knowledge today becomes obsolete tomorrow. It becomes outdated. Today's knowledge becomes outdated tomorrow. But what they remember is character, because character is something that is permanent. Knowledge keeps changing. Character remains permanent. So it is here that a college should have a very positive relationship with the students, so that the students have a love towards the society, have a love towards what they learn, have a love towards what they need to do for fellow human beings, and in what way they are ready to face the global challenges becomes extremely important. Next slide, please. How much time do I still have?
Sir, you can make only 2 more minutes, sir. Only 2 or 3 more minutes, sir, please.
2-3 minutes. Sorry. Yeah. I was not really told the time.
Sorry, sir.
Not really. Yeah. Maybe you can skip this slide. So because I can go to, these are all things. Yeah. So what teachers, as teachers, what the teaching staff should really do? the teaching staff. So as teaching staff, how we must ensure the genuine focus on their not just teaching but intellectual virtues and practical wisdom. How practical we can be, how we can be detailing in virtues of discipline and associated programs of the study. How we make them disciplined. Self-discipline is extremely important. You need not impose, but then help the student to learn what discipline is. Help the students what ethical practices are, especially in terms of employment when they start working at their workplace. What ethical practices are. Need not be just theory alone. So how important it is to have practical wisdom rather than only bookish knowledge. So this only a teacher can teach. So teachers can always enhance the quality of personal tutoring, personal mentoring, pastoral care. In our institutions, we always use the word pastoral care for students, developing of their qualities, so that every student who comes to us is a bud. The bud should blossom, flourish. So that is what our aim should be. We should always be encouraging new students when they come out with new ideas. So that is when you are challenging them. So that is where they feel challenged and they also come out with new challenges and feel that this teacher is open to our ideas. So this is where we need to, as teachers, provide real life opportunities so that they can test their character when they go to the field. What they have learned in the classroom, they can experiment in the society. And extracurricular activities is one way of teaching them what volunteering is. It's extremely important that people should volunteer. So it's always important that we as teachers ask for their feedback, and we give feedback to the students also, especially on character and wisdom, especially on their performances, how they perform inside the classroom as well as outside the classroom, what you have observed from them as a mentor. So it helps really creating a link between the teacher and the student. So and then we can always see how the student is connected to the local issues, to the national issues, to global challenges that are there like climate change and other issues, how far they can contribute. So it becomes extremely important as teachers that first of all we are educated. Once we are educated, how we transform that, how we push that to the level of the student becomes extremely important. Next slide is the last one. So it is here that as institutions, as colleges, we are duty bound to shape the character of the students. Student need not realize, you need not tell that I am developing your character, I am developing your character. No. But then you should do it in such a subtle manner that by the time they get out of the college, they realize that they were not the same persons after their 12th when they came, when they are passing out with the graduation. The question is not whether, but what qualities of character are being formed through higher education and how intentionally this formative aspect of education is undertaken. So this is where as teachers and as institutions, it becomes our responsibility to see to it that we produce good citizens, we produce productive citizens of the society. We help students become productive. We help students who respect others, be it a woman or a child or a man. How far we respect others, how far we understand the feelings of others. So that's what is character formation, and if we are able to do that, we would really have succeeded in producing a good country, a good society and good citizens. Thank you. If you have questions, I'll take them up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your insightful and thought-provoking session on fostering character building in higher education. Your valuable insights have inspired us to reflect on our teaching approaches and the broader impact we have on our learners, sir. Thank you, sir.
Participants, now the session is open for discussion. Participants, now you can unmute your microphone and raise your questions or post it in the chat box.
Sir, good evening. Thank you so much for and especially the activities you told that the students are being engaged with trafficking and going to village. That I witnessed in Trichy St. Joseph's College. It's highly appreciable. One more point I want to add that every student should involve themselves with the nation state, like military activity or participating in NCC activity. This point I want to emphasize. Second point, I am not agreeing with you that India is the only country is having a caste and religion barrier. Not that. When I was working in overseas, I could realize racism. I don't want to mention the country, but of course, what you told is right. Here and there, some incidents are happening. That also we have to change.
Ma'am, racism is different from casteism.
Yeah,
Racism
sorry.
is a recent 500-year-old phenomenon.
Yeah.
Casteism is a 3,000-year-old phenomenon.
Sir, it is not the case. Whether it is, I am not, I don't want to argue with you, but whatever be the case, the casteism is somewhat the idea of the racism, the difference. What you want to say is all human are equal. So that we should inculcate with every student. So India is the socialistic and we are the secularistic country. Here and there, in all the countries, you can take the example of Lebanon and Israel. So I don't want to go in depth, but I want to add at the point. That's it, sir. But anyhow, we have taken a good points what you have mentioned, and thank you so much. I personally thank you so much for getting some ideas about to build a good character with the students. Sir. Thank you so much. Any other wants to ask some questions, sir? Participants?
You can also post your question in the chat box also.
I think no one has a question, sir.
I thought all are understood well, sir, from your lecture.
Yeah, I always say that there is a very famous shampoo, all clear.
Yes.
So, whether everything is clear or whether everything is washed off the head.
No, sir. It's very clear, sir.
Thank you.
And also participants, we want one or two participants, you can give your feedback or suggestions regarding this session.
Sir, I want to express my gratitude, sir. First, I should accept that we should talk aloud about this domestic violence and everything, because we, the teachers, are responsible for shaping our students. And your talk has motivated us and has instilled some more responsibility in us. That is, according to the time change, we have to be a role model. We have to learn a lot, not to teach, but to make them a good citizen first. And the way you expressed, that is how it is practically possible. I was confusing with the extracurricular activities with the club activities, sir. Today you have clarified very well. Extracurricular activities is for there, and the club activities is to be systemized at the time of admission itself. That I took the point, sir. Because at the time of admission itself means it should be brought to the management, it should be shaped well, and then we have to admit the students on the basis. It was very nice, sir. And due to some time constraint only, we are not able to permit you to complete your slides, sir.
No
I am very sorry. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your nice words, ma'am. And now I invite Mrs. A. Purnima Devi, Assistant Professor of English, V.V.Vanniaperumal College for Women, Virudhunagar, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I feel immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks in this insightful and enriching session on fostering character building in the learners of higher education institutions. First and foremost, I would like to express my profound thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Paul Newman, Associate Professor, Department of History, St. Joseph University, Bangalore. Your expert insights have broadened our understanding of how higher education institutions can play a crucial role not only in fostering academic excellence but also in shaping the moral and ethical foundation of students. Thank you for your invaluable contribution that has enriched our knowledge and inspired us to strive for a more holistic approach to education. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to the college management for their commitment to enhancing the professional growth of our faculty members has made this program possible. Next, I owe my special thanks to our dynamic principal, Dr. S. Sintana, for her invaluable guidance and unwavering support throughout this faculty development program. Her vision and encouragement to academic excellence have been constant source of inspiration for all of us. I sincerely thank our ingenious IQAC coordinator, Dr. M. Ponnin Selvi, for being a rock of support. Her diligent planning, steadfast dedication, and leadership played a crucial role in ensuring the seamless execution and success of this program. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Jamal Mohamed College, Trichy, for partnering with us in this faculty development program. Your collaboration has truly highlighted the strength of teamwork and shared objectives in advancing educational excellence. I express my genuine gratitude to the organizing team for their tireless efforts behind the scenes in ensuring the smooth execution of this program. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the participants for your active participation. Let us take the knowledge and inspiration gained here and apply them to our daily work. Let us strive to nurture not only the intellect of our students but also their character and values. Thank you once again for your time and support.
And thank you, Purnima ma'am, for your kind and heartfelt words which perfectly encapsulated the sessions of today's session.
Dear participants, the feedback link is posted in the chat box as well as the YouTube live chat box. Kindly fill within the 30 minutes. And looking forward to see tomorrow's sessions by the resource person Dr. K.T. Tamilmani, Vice Principal, Associate Professor and Head Department of English, Nehru Memorial College, Trichy, on the topic Soft Skill Training for Managing Pedagogical Distraction, as we continue this enriching journey together. Once again, I thank you all for making this session a resounding success. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, participants.